Hello, welcome to Mystical Adventures. I'm your host, Vivian. I'm so glad you've joined me tonight. I have a fun and hopefully fun and informative show for you tonight. So let's get started. I want to tell you about some upcoming things happening in February. I've got a rockin' interview with my friend and very talented colleague Christine French on February 23rd, so don't miss that. She's a very talented transformational life coach, very gifted intuitive. We're going to have fun talking about her and what she does, and she's going to give you some inspirational pointers and guidance for the year ahead. I'm also going to, hopefully, things change. I'm adaptable. I go with the flow, but I'm probably going to do some exploration into creative visualization more in February. And we're going to touch on that today, but my goal is to go perhaps more into depth in February, and I'm really excited about that. So if you don't know what creative visualization is, stick around. We're going to talk about it. And today we're going to continue our exploration of, you guessed it, multidimensional manifesting, which we have been exploring for the past few weeks. The program I've developed, an integrative goal achievement manifestation program for empowering you to achieve your goals and work with the different dimensions inside you and around you to create the life you really want to create. So I'm excited to continue with our final dimension of multidimensional manifesting, which is the upper realms. We started with the roots, the foundation. We just explored the trunk last week, and today we're going to be exploring the higher dimensions, the branches of the tree of multidimensional manifesting, and explore some creative and super conscious components tonight. Before we get to that, I would like to also mention I'm going to be trying something new today. So I hope you'll join me in this experiment. I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live where I'm going to be doing, right after the show, I'm going to be doing a February forecast and messages for each zodiac sign. So it's not an astrology reading, but I'm going to do a brief reading with messages and what I see for each sign. And I'm dividing it into the zodiac signs so that you get a more personal reading. So if you know your rising sign, sun sign, moon sign, you can look at your rising and sun sign for general messages. Your rising sign can also tell you about your physical health, and your moon sign to understand messages and guidance for your emotional experiences in February. So join me, hop on over to my Facebook page. It's Creative Psyche Studio. There's a link on the A1R website and the A1R different social media platforms to my website. It's the same as my website. The name is Creative Psyche Studio, and I should pop up if you put that into the search. So come on over to Facebook. I'm going to do the Facebook Live for forecasts and messages, intuitive messages for February, right after the show. So now I'd like to tell you what the message is for the week ahead, the general collective message. Every week I channel a spirit helper of some shape or form, a heart-centered, expanded form of consciousness, some kind of spirit, plant, animal, angel, ascended master. And this week it was a plant spirit. I don't know if you can see, I have a plant behind me, which is yarrow, which yarrow did not show up today as the plant spirit helper, but she reminds me of how this plant spirit looks. And the plant spirit is, drum roll please, the fern, sacred fern. If you're listening to this and not watching this, you can't see the plant behind me, but yarrow does look a bit like fern, depends on the yarrow. So fern showed up for this upcoming week of January 26th, 2021. And excuse me, my voice is, I'm intending and setting my intention and setting my affirmation that my voice lasts throughout the show and the Facebook Live. I have been in sessions back to back with clients today, so drinking some tea to help it come back. There you go, voice. There you go, vocal cords coming back. So here is, without further ado, the message from plant spirit of fern for this upcoming week. And ferns are symbols in mythology and folklore of new beginnings, luck, prosperity, family, youth. So we've got that energy coming to us right now. And she says, be stationary, be movement, be fluid, be earth. You have the power to dance between the worlds and become more fluid or more solid as the situation calls for. I'm here to tell you that you are both, my friend. You are both sea and sky and earth. You can move between the worlds and the spheres with ease as you learn to be flexible, as you learn to embrace your true adaptable nature, and you allow a natural process within you to unfurl and unfold, like my leaves in the forest. I'm here to tell you that spring is on its way, and you will have new freedoms and adventures, new life and opportunities to unfurl and unfold your true essence on this earth. You only have so much time on this earth, but there are many cycles to work with, and I am a plant that can help teach you about the Mother Earth and her cycles, about flowing with nature and allowing yourself to pop up, spring forth when the time is right. You can be one with the sky and the stars, but also the earth, and use both your imagination and heart to use your soul and the solid groundedness of the earth plane in order to create what you want. Sometimes you have to mix them all together, and it can be so delightful. Thank you, Sacred Fern, for that beautiful message. I believe she showed up to help us with tonight's topic, exploring imagination in the superconscious in multidimensional manifesting. Fern is associated, some associate her with the planet Mercury, which is, he is all about adaptability. So there's a lot of adaptability, there's a lot of airiness, ideas, imagination associated with this plant. And I think of Fern as feminine and her energy. And she's also associated with the water element. She's associated with the earth. When I think of ferns, I think of romantic, I think of earthy, but also watery. And it's interesting, she's talking about connecting the spheres and moving between the spheres. She's talking about kind of like Squirrel Animal Totem was last week with the trunk and being adaptable. This exploration into the branches, into the higher consciousness part of multidimensional manifesting is really exploring that openness and that adaptability even further, your imagination. So remember last time we explored the trunk, we explored the realm of integration. The trunk connects the higher sphere, the higher consciousness with the roots, with the groundedness, with the earthiness. We explored some practical dimensions, time management, taking action, coming up with an action plan, planning, mapping, logic, your ego, your conscious mind, your analytical mind, the organizing principle, focus, and what motivates you. So we're shifting this week from the trunk to the branches, and we are up here in the sky and the stars and the sun and the moon and the cosmos. It's so important that we include the branches, the higher consciousness, in our manifestation process, in our goal planning. Why? Why not just come up with a plan? Why not just get down to the nitty gritty, Anne? Why not just plod along and stick with the logic, stick with the plan, stick with what's practical? Well, why do you think, my friend? Because it's not inspiring, and you're not going to continue to do something, you're not going to continue to invest in energy in something unless you have some kind of motivation. And sometimes the motivation is a fear. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. Sometimes we're motivated by our shoulds. We think we should. We're motivated by, we want to conform, or we feel guilty if we don't, or we want to do something to control a situation, or some other unhealthy, codependent, or otherwise maladaptive reason. So I'm not saying we're not motivated by the wrong things sometimes, but motivation, the spark, the inspiration, what drives you, your connection with the deeper meaning. This is where the branches help connect you with that expanded consciousness, that oomph, that electricity, that spark, that sparkle. We need that sparkle. We need that divine inspiration, and we need that divine consciousness in our manifestation process, in our goal achievement plan. It's adding the fuel to our train so that it can have the energy it needs to run. Life energy, earth energy is another important component of fuel and energy, but so is the higher consciousness. So what is higher consciousness, Anne? What the heck are you talking about? Higher consciousness, I also call super consciousness. This is the cosmic energy, the cosmic consciousness that is associated with what some might call God. I use the word spirit. Expanded, evolved consciousness. This is where your higher self dwells. This is where angels and ascended masters and entities who are highly evolved dwell, in the levels of consciousness that are more evolved than we tend to focus on or be aware of here on the earth plane. This is the realm of being that is heart-centered, it's loving, it's beyond logic and limit. This is the part of consciousness that is imagination, that is inspiration. There's solutions to problems beyond our logical comprehension. There's understanding and mystical awareness beyond our logical or practical understanding. And it is inside all of us, and we all have access to it. And when we can tap into this God life force consciousness energy, when we can tap into this energy of spirit, then we tap into a resource within us and around us that truly can guide us to overcome the most impossible obstacles, and guide us in such a way, as I said, that is beyond our logical comprehension, that is beyond a practical or analytical level of understanding. So this can help you to make decisions about how to overcome obstacles, make decisions about what to focus on or what actions to take to achieve your goals. And connecting with spirit and this super consciousness can help you to understand what it is your spirit, your soul really wants to create in this life, in your life right now. There's a few different ways that you can tune into this higher consciousness. Dreams are a great way. Dreams are a great way to work with your own multidimensional consciousness, your emotions and drives and desires and fears and feelings, but also your intuition and your higher consciousness. If you keep a dream journal, if you reflect on your dreams, if you do any dream work with a dream specialist or a dream group, this can help you to begin to get in touch with the intuitive and higher consciousness energy and guidance that's coming through in your dreams. And you can even incubate specific dreams about different goals you have, to receive guidance, to receive energy, to receive creative ideas. help making decisions. Do you ever use your dreams in this way? Or perhaps you use them, but you don't know it in this way. Sometimes we might have a dream in which we are bestowed with divine guidance and understanding, and we don't even remember the dream, but we wake up and we know something happened. We know we were downloaded with something. We know that we were touched by something higher. And that's a dream experience where you opened up to this higher consciousness in your dreams. There's also meditation. If you meditate regularly, you're tuning into your expanded consciousness and transcending your analytical mind, quieting your analytical mind in order to, or opening your mind in order for that analytical mind to start to quiet down in order to connect with these more expanded dimensions of yourself. Just reflection, inner knowing, taking time to reflect and taking time to tune into higher consciousness. Prayer. These are all practices that help you connect intentionally with your higher consciousness. Taking time to connect with your imagination. Creative visualization is another practice to tune into this super consciousness. And we can't do it if we don't make time for it. So taking time out every day, if possible, or at least a few times a week to connect in some way, shape, or form is going to help you bring this consciousness, this guidance and energy into your psyche, into your life, into your mind, body, spirit. So incorporating some way for you to connect with your imagination, with spirit, is imperative. Creative visualization is using your intention to create your reality. It's based on the law of attraction. Your thoughts create your reality. And it's a way of intentionally imagining what you want in order to be a part of that process of creation and manifestation and goal achievement in a more intentional way. So creative visualization is another way to tap into this higher consciousness. Your intuition, however you tap into your intuition, is a great way to tune into this higher consciousness, to tune into the branches. And asking your higher self, what do I really want? Incubating a dream about this, which just means setting your intention to have a dream about this. And remember, it's about your uniqueness, your innovation, your creativity. We need this in our goals and our manifestation practice. I have a message from my producer that there is a caller on the line. I'm just pulling up the information here about. It's Catherine in England. Hi, Catherine. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can.
Hi, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
All right, thank you.
So delighted you've called. How can I help you tonight, Catherine?
Sorry?
How can I help you tonight?
I just thought you might be able to tell me a bit of what might be going off in the near future.
Sure. I would be happy to. Let me just take a sip of tea and tune into your energy. It'll just be a moment of silence, okay?
Okay.
Well, I'm getting a couple things just as I tune into your energy, just psychically before I draw any cards. I feel you have a beautiful nature energy around you that you do love to connect with nature, and it's very therapeutic for you. And I feel that yes, and I feel that you are a people person and you love connecting with people, and you're feeling perhaps a little, Catherine, I almost want to say forlorn, like you want to connect with someone or some people, but you feel a restriction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm feeling you have a lovely a lovely energy, and I am feeling, however, that you're a little scattered, more scattered than you'd like to be, and to be able to focus and ground your energy and clarify yourself might help you quite a bit right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And sometimes, Catherine, when we're scattered and we're not quite aligned, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're doing something wrong or that something's horribly off. Sometimes we just go through cycles where we're exploring things, and we're in sort of a cycle of exploration and maybe even chaos, but sometimes that's part of the process for arriving at more focus. So I pulled some cards for you, my dear, and the first card does talk about how you're feeling scattered, you're feeling perhaps you don't have enough information and you'd like to move forward, but you feel like you're held back because you don't have the answers or resources or understanding, really, the information understanding you need to move forward. The challenge card, right? The challenge card is speaking of, you do have the strength, Catherine. You do have the ability to focus and to mobilize your resources and figure this out, even though it feels like you're behind or not quite where you want to be with this. The challenge card is showing you that your challenge is to recognize your own strengths, my friend, to recognize that you do have the power. And sometimes it feels invisible what the solution is, but to remember that the answers are within you and that you are embraced by spirit and connected with this higher consciousness. Speaking of higher consciousness, spirit, God, always, even when it feels like you're in the dark. In the guidance position, I am pulling the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles here, and it shows, I'm going to hold, I don't know if you're watching or you're just listening, but I'm holding it up to the camera. It's a shot of a scene of a woman who is surrounded by bounty and prosperity and pleasure, and she's very much enjoying life and in her world. And I feel like the message, Catherine, here is you can pace yourself, and you can take time to figure out, to clarify what it is that you want to do in this next chapter. You don't need to race to the finish, and that you actually have, I feel like there's a lot of support around you, and there are a lot of people who, I feel like go to you for advice, or at least a few people in your life who value your opinion and expertise and information, and that this is actually very therapeutic for you. And as you actually give others advice, it helps you to clarify for yourself. It's almost like it helps you give yourself advice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel, as we're moving towards spring and we're moving towards coming back out in the world with the vaccine being disseminated and things hopefully opening up in the next few months, it's a good time to let yourself just explore different things that please you without putting pressure on yourself to kind of come up with the answer. And that can help you arrive at some answers for yourself. I feel like in this next chapter, Catherine, you're going to be focusing more on what you want. You're going to be focusing more on planning and taking risks. You're going to be in a great cycle where you will be feeling more confident. You're going to see more results of the different risks you take, the different plans that you put into action. You're not going to be as shy in the next few months. I feel like in 3 months, you will be moving at a much different speed, and you will see some movement forward. And a lot of that has to do with your confidence, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're the advice giver to some people, that you're a mentor, or that you're providing some sort of guidance or support? Catherine?
Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just asking, do you feel like you are in the position of providing guidance and support to people right now?
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel when you give support to others?
Makes me feel good, worthy.
Yeah. And that good feeling when we're giving back is sometimes what can stimulate the flow of abundance and creativity and clarification. So I feel like the more you can do that, as well as take care of yourself and do what pleases you without putting pressure on yourself, the more you'll move past this obstacle. And I do think you're going to have a lot of prosperity and positive movement in the next chapter. So I do so hope that was helpful, my friend. And thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you, dear viewers and listeners, for tuning in. I appreciate you connecting with me so much. And I've so enjoyed our time together. Remember, I am going to hop on Facebook Live right after this show, Creative Psyche Studio on Facebook. Psyche is spelled Psyche, and I hope you'll join me for a zodiac reading for the month ahead of February. I'll see you on Facebook Live. Have a blessed week. Goodbye, my friend.